Welcome back to the Be Code by Tiffany, the podcast where we unlock the women that you were always meant to be by returning to yourself through 5 powerful pillars: bold, independent, tenacious, confident, and honest. Today's episode is about 2 of the smallest words in the English language: yes and no. They're only a few letters long, but they have the power to determine the quality of your relationships, your peace, your confidence, your future, and ultimately, your life. And the truth is, yes builds the life you deserve. No protects it. So if you've ever struggled with boundaries, people pleasing, guilt, shame, or saying yes when every part of you wanted to say no, then this episode is for you. This episode of the Be Code was brought to you by my upcoming book, How to Become a Bitch and Live Happily Ever After. In this book, I reclaim bitch as an acronym. It's not about attitude, it's about freedom. And inside, I take you deeper into each of these 5 pillars, expanding them into a full journey back to yourself. This book is my heart, my story, and the framework that has helped countless women transform their lives. It comes out this year, but you don't have to wait. I created a free Be Code starter guide just for you. 5 pillars, 5 practices, 1 powerful shift, so that you can start stepping into your bold, independent, tenacious, confident, and honest self, which just happens to be the best version of you. It's yours at blossomlifeco.com/Be Code starter guide. Download it today and start living your Be Code. One of the greatest misconceptions that we've been taught is that saying yes makes us kind and saying no makes us selfish. I don't believe that. I believe wisdom is knowing when each word serves you. And the truth is, your life is shaped by what you repeatedly say yes to, but also what you repeatedly say no to. And those 2 words determine everything in your life: your relationships, your career, your health, your confidence, your peace, and ultimately the direction of your life. And what I love most is that these 2 little words are woven throughout the Be Code, because every pillar requires both a powerful yes, but equally a powerful no. So I'm going to walk you through them together. B is for bold. And we already know that bold isn't about being loud. It's about having the courage to choose yourself. Bold means saying yes to opportunities that serve you and stretch you, even when fear tells you to stay small. It's saying yes to your dreams before you have all the answers. Here are some examples. It's raising your hand or speaking your truth or starting that business, leaving that unhealthy relationship, writing that book, having the difficult conversation. But bold also requires no to fear, no to staying silent just to make everyone else comfortable, no to shrinking yourself so other people aren't intimidated by your light. Boldness begins every time you stop asking permission to be yourself. I for independent. Independence is emotional freedom. It's knowing your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's approval. It's saying yes to trusting yourself. Yes to making your own decisions. Yes to becoming the author and heroine of your own life. But independence also means saying no to people pleasing, no to constantly looking outside yourself for validation, no to giving other people the power to determine your growth and your worth. The more independent you become emotionally, the less that you'll sacrifice yourself to keep someone else happy. Let's talk about tenacious. Tenacity is choosing yourself over and over again. It's also saying yes to getting back up after disappointment. Yes to resilience, to growth, to trying one more time. But tenacity also means saying no to quitting after every time life gets a little hard, or no to believing one failure defines you. No to allowing temporary setbacks to become permanent identities. A tenacious woman doesn't avoid adversity. She walks right through it. Let's talk about C for confident. Confidence isn't believing you're perfect. Confidence is believing you'll be okay no matter what happens. Confidence says yes to taking up space. So that means yes to your voice, yes to your gifts, to your value. But confidence also requires saying no to comparison. So, no to self doubt, no to constantly criticizing yourself, and no to settling for less than you deserve because you've forgotten your worth. Confidence grows every single time your actions match what you know you deserve. I love that. And H is for honest. And honesty is where true freedom begins because it's saying yes to your truth and your authenticity and to the conversations that you've been avoiding. And yes to looking inward with compassion instead of judgment. But honesty also means saying no to pretending, no to wearing masks, no to denying what you already know in your heart, no to betraying your own values just to fit into someone else's expectations. Honesty is where alignment begins. When you really think about the B code, it isn't just about becoming bold, independent, tenacious, confident, and honest. It's about learning what deserves your yes and what requires your no. Because every time you say yes to your values, you naturally begin saying no to anything that violates them. Every time you say no to self abandonment, you create space to say yes to becoming the woman you were always meant to be. And that's why I believe these two words are among the most powerful words that you'll ever speak. Because yes builds the life you deserve, and no protects it. And together, they become the language of self respect. I want to share a story that completely changed the way I think about these two little words. Years ago, I was on a date with an attorney, and on paper, he was everything that many people would have wanted. He was successful, intelligent, accomplished, and very handsome. But in date, he pulled out an illegal substance, and I think he was expecting that I would partake in that, which completely went against my, not that I would have used it, but I wouldn't have been as solid in my no. And I might just have sat there and let him do it in front of me. Or I might have questioned myself, and I might have wondered if saying no or walking away would mean I'd never hear from him again. But I did. I walked away, and I went to the bathroom, and I think I went to go sit with a couple of my friends who had been in that nightclub or restaurant. I don't remember where it was. But something inside me had changed. And without hesitation, I simply smiled and walked away. No, thank you was basically what I was saying. And it wasn't harsh, it wasn't defensive, it wasn't emotional. It was just simply my truth. And what struck me wasn't that I said no to him, it was what that no really meant. That no was actually a yes to my values, a yes to my self respect, a yes to moving at a pace that felt right for me and an alignment with my truth. And it was a yes to honoring the woman that I had worked so hard to become. And as the date progressed, I ended up asking him to take me home. And when he took me home, he leaned in to give me a kiss goodbye, and I turned my cheek, of course, because the date hadn't gone so well. And what he did is he took his hands and he pulled my face towards his lips and he kissed me on the lips. And in that moment, I realized something that I'll never forget. I basically said, "This will be the last time that you ever see me." I want you to know that every time we say no to something that isn't aligned with who we are, what we're doing is we're simultaneously saying yes to ourselves. So those two words aren't opposites, they're actually partners. Every healthy no creates a healthier yes. And every meaningful yes usually requires the courage to say no to something else. So I left that evening feeling something that I hadn't always felt in my younger years. I felt proud, not because I rejected someone, especially someone like that, but because I didn't reject myself. That moment had nothing to do with dating. It had everything to do with identity and choosing me. It reminded me that self respect isn't something you think about, it's something that you practice. One yes and one no at a time. Let's flip the switch together. So instead of saying, "I feel guilty saying no," I want you to flip it. And I want you to say to yourself, Every healthy no is an act of self-respect. Instead of saying, "What if they don't like me?" Flip it and say, "The right people won't require me to betray myself to keep them." Instead of saying, "I'm afraid to miss an opportunity," I want you to flip it and I want you to say to yourself, "Every intentional no makes room for the right yes." Here's another one. Instead of saying, "I'm being selfish," I want you to flip it to saying, "Protecting my peace allows me to love others from a healthier place." That's the power of shifting one belief and one thought and one decision. And that's how you flip the switch in the B code. This is one of my favorite parts of the podcast because I truly have intentions for you, and I hope that you feel these in your heart. So, my intention for you in this episode is that you stop measuring your worth by how available you are to everyone else. And I hope you begin measuring it by how faithful you are to yourself. And I hope you start saying yes to the things that makes your soul come alive. And I hope you become brave enough to say no to anything that asks you to abandon who you are. Because confidence isn't built by pleasing everyone, it's built by honoring yourself. And you don't need to explain every no. You don't need to give permission to say yes to your dreams. Those two words are enough, and they always have been. And remember, they are complete sentences, which means they don't require anything to come after them. Here are some key takeaways from today's episode. Yes builds the life that you deserve, and no protects the life you build. Every unnecessary yes is going to come at the cost of something valuable, and that is usually your peace. Every healthy no strengthens your self-respect, and the hardest boundaries are often the ones that we set with ourselves. You don't need a long explanation for a boundary. Remember, like I said, no is a complete sentence, and you also don't need permission to pursue your purpose. Yes is a complete sentence. Self-respect grows every time your words and your actions align. When you master these two words, you begin mastering your own life. So, as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with one question. Which word do you need more of right now? Do you need more yes? Maybe yes to your dreams or your healing, your purpose or joy? Or do you need more no? No to fear or people pleasing, self abandonment, or anything that costs you your peace. And I want you to remember this. Yes builds a life you deserve, and no protects it. And when you learn to use both with intention, you don't just create better boundaries, you create a better and happier life. And I want to thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this episode resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe, leave a review, and possibly share it with a woman who might need to hear this message today. Until next time, keep choosing yourself, keep living in alignment with your truth, and keep becoming the woman that you were always meant to be. Because that's the B Code.